Hey there, Cancer. So this is your forecast taking you from the new moon in Gemini right the way through to the full moon in Sagittarius. Now, this is quite an important 2 weeks, I would say, because there's just so much going on. First of all, Jupiter is going into your sign on the 9th of June. And I think that is going to really bring some excitement to your life for sure. And you might ask yourself, what was going on 11 to 12 years ago? Because that would be the last time that Jupiter came into this part of your chart. And he is there to wake you up and to really help you expand and become so much more in yourself, to be a lot more noticeable, which I think is kind of a cool thing for a Cancerian. Now, you'll see I've got this like thumbnail for Air to Fire. That is a video that I've done about this 2-week period, but more from an astrological point of view, where I talk about the Sabian symbols, the fact that the new moon is so airy, like really airy, not just in Gemini, it's super air. And that the second, the full moon in Sagittarius is really like hot, it's steamy, it's asking us to take action. So to me, I see that this 2-week period is about the ideas coming in, the sort of airiness, the newness, the innovation, the sense that things are about to change. All these, it's almost like stardust. That's how I see it. And then throughout the 2-week period, there is this impulse, this deep impulse to move forwards, to push forwards, and to really start to implement all of these energies, which I think are super exciting. Let's not forget also that Saturn just changed signs as well. So, oh my God, so much going on. Anyway, if you're new to this channel, hi, my name's Louisa Tanner Munson. Welcome. Really what I'm hoping to do in this short video is to illustrate how you can use the planetary energy for your absolute best. And yeah, if you can come away feeling hopeful and optimistic, that would be amazing. It's not required, by the way. Before we do that, I just want to say thank you to everybody that supports the channel. And also, if you have been here before and you've come back, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. So let's have a look at these two forecasts I'm looking at. So the first chart I'm looking at is the new moon in Gemini. It's 6 degrees in the sign of Gemini. On the 27th, taking you through, you'll see the moon moving all the way around the chart, right the way to the last third of Sagittarius. Whoops. There we go. There it is. So I've obviously got 3 charts in here. I meant to take that one out. But anyway, you'll see that this is a highly organized looking new moon. And then by the time we get to the full moon, you'll see that everything is kind of moved around. And those patterns have kind of collapsed and formed a new kind of trajectory. I really see the first of these charts as being really supportive and organized in as much as it feels like information is coming in lightning speed, that there is this like when you think of air, like it's just so empty, isn't it? Like if you were to move something throughout space and time or through that air, it would just hit that thing it was aimed at. There's nothing, there's no resistance. And so with this new moon, I really see that this is a time of zero resistance. It is a time when anything that is coming into your mind, you want to develop and bring out into the world. This is a great time to do that. Now, as we are coming into the time of the full moon in Sagittarius, what I really see with all of these kind of crisscrossing lines, all these squares, the 2 oppositions that I see, I really see that there is a lot of resistance. And actual fact, it's not really telling you can't do it. It's saying you're going to have to just try a little bit harder. So I really see as we're coming into this time that you're trying a lot harder. And of course, if you're trying to throw something through fire, it may well get melted along the way. So interesting, really interesting times. Now, the new moon and the full moon are across the 12th house and the 6th house. Now, these are interesting houses because they are showing you how you're creating a story for yourself and also how you're disposing of that story of yourself. I always think of the 6th house, it shows how busy we are and what's coming up for us. Like, what are the stories? What are the busyness that we're, holding for ourselves? What's our diary looking like? Every single entry, every single list, every single job you need to do, every different aspect of your life, from your work, your diet, your shopping list, your picking up your kids from school, whatever it is, it all forms part of the story of you. And so as you're coming to the time of the full moon in Sagittarius, I really think you've had it up to here with this story about you. It just feels like, bloody hell, my story is just so packed, so busy, so dense. There's not much space for me. So around the time of the full moon, be aware for that. Create some space for you ahead of time. Really, truly create some space so that you can kind of, whew, that you can breathe and you can roll your shoulders back and you can sit down and chill out. Now, where this starts is a completely different place because, this particular part of the chart, the 12th house, is where the stories come to die. This is really where we're in a place of imagination, in the place of the unconscious mind, in the fields, like the mental fields, like you could say the metaphysical law of attraction fields, any kind of energy, like universal energy, religious energy. We're not talking about factual things that you can sit near and kind of, like, that's me banging on my desk. We're not talking about the real and manifested. We're talking about the unreal, the visualized, the yet to be manifest. And so this part of the chart where the new moon is taking place, to me, this is an opportunity for you to completely dissolve your stories, to drop them, to let them go. So maybe with this new moon in Gemini, actually what you're doing, Cancer, is saying, do you know what? This time, this life, it's all really busy. I just want to start again. So this is a place for you to review how you're feeling. And it's also a place where if there's too much stimulation going on, that you can actually get a little bit overwhelmed, and you might, I'm realizing that my own speed in which I deliver these forecasts is probably really like, stop, slow down a little bit, because this is a place where you want to be a little bit quiet and to go into reflection and not feel that it's like attack, tack, 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 like my voice. Da, 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 da. So my apologies on that. Now, if you're like, if you think about it, this 2-week forecast is really starting from this new moon in Gemini. And this is really asking you to look at your dreams and come into awareness about your dreams, come into awareness about your unconscious programming. And, Pluto is also giving you access to a lot of stuff that you've lodged, all that sort of muck that lives between you and your parents, you and your siblings, you and your partners and friends and things. Upsets, disappointments, resentments, regrets, anywhere where there's some old stuff that you're not quite comfortable about. The new moon, thankfully, is dark. It doesn't have much illumination, but it does still create an energetic where you're kind of sat in the middle. And if you were to perceive all of those different thoughts around you, you'd be like, oh my God. So Uranus and Mercury, one of the great things about them is they are thought fields. Uranus is very much a channeled energy, and Mercury is very much a communication. It's moving things from place to place. And so one thing that I do see as a possibility for you, especially seeing as like with the moon as your ruler, the moon, it shows that you go through phases, and in particular you go through many phases, in a day, let alone in a month. But the moon is the fastest body that we're working with our birth charts. So the moon here is showing that it's okay to transform and move things around. So things like NLP, neuro linguistic programming, where you're taking an idea or a thought and you're programming it with your senses in a different way so that you can kind of pack it and put it away. You transform it and you tuck it away into a different part of your library of your mind. What I really see here is you can create lots of space for yourself. You can either, like Uranus brings up this like chaos, this on off, this here it is, now it's gone. Here I am, now I'm out of here. Uranus really does like to cut things up and separate. And so this may well be a time when you're coming into a separation from your past, when you're coming into a real strong letting go of the past. And consciousness can be your friend. That's the funny thing. I really think during this time you may, if you're able to tune in and to feel that connection that you have with actual life, not necessarily with people and egos, but with the inanimate life, like trees, the water, the sun, the sky, anywhere where you can just connect into universal consciousness, or that feeling of I exist and I'm part of this connection. I think that's where you get your sense of truth, your rightness and wrongness. And so, yeah, as we're going through this period, I think the peace that you're able to cultivate for yourself here, it feels a million miles from there by the time this full moon in Sagittarius comes along. And, the full moon is likely to show up where you may feel vulnerable and where things haven't really cleared in a permanent way, but it's really giving you a massive clue as to how you want to change your life so you have a lot more freedom. And that's where I'm getting to, because just before the full moon, we've got these lovely energies. First of all, Venus into Taurus. Venus is bringing a sense of loveliness and kindness into your interactions with people around you. Not necessarily your close friends, not necessarily your family, but just people around and about, people that you connect with. There's a lightness, there's a feeling of connection. It's all really good. And we've also got Mercury coming into your first house, which is likely to make you feel a lot more talkative and a lot more like you want to connect. Not like, again, with people, but just with everything, to feel that total connection, that sort of total grounding. And then Jupiter is coming into your sign on the 9th. Now, Jupiter is exalted in your sign. He is there as an expansive tool. He's faithful. And I don't mean in relationships, because actually Jupiter really has quite a colorful past, but Jupiter has that sense of faith, that sense of religion, that sense of spirituality. And as he comes into your first house, he is there to explore that sense of faith and trusting, and to, I guess, renew your sense of faith and trust in the world. So all in all, I actually think this new moon in the 12th to the full moon in the 6th is really here to jumpstart you and to show you what is really peaceful and feels at ease, and what is really chaotic and what you actually want to let go of. And Jupiter will help you identify that. Jupiter will help you to create something really new and peaceful for you. Now, if you would like to know a lot more about this forecast from a love perspective or a career perspective, then you might also be interested in the membership that I have. So for instance, I've got my membership. I host it on a company called School, a platform called School, www.school, that's with a K.com/feelgood astrology. You get 1 week's free trial, so you can give it a go. And if it's not for you, that's fine. It costs $22 a month. With it, you get 4 extra forecasts for all 12 signs of the zodiac. So for instance, if you're a Cancer, you can check out your sun sign and also your ascendant, by the way. You could also check out your moon. I know some people that look at their moon, or in particular, if they've got a planet that is really, really strong and seems to lead in their chart, they might check that out. But essentially every 2 weeks, at the time of the new moon and at the time of the full moon, you'll get a love forecast similar to the one I've just done today, only about love. And you'll also get a career and ambitions forecast. So you get at least 40 minutes worth of consultation time with me through those readings. I also do a daily 5-minute update, which I post the day before. So you've got guidance for the day ahead, Monday to Friday. I also do 2 live groupinars, like group meetings, where we talk and discuss and look at our charts and we share. So if you're new to astrology, and I will be teaching as well at some point, but if you're new, or whether you're quite experienced, we're all there sharing our ideas together and looking to see how astrology as a model really does relate in our lives. My whole purpose here is to help you see that astrology is a useful model, a useful tool for you to be able to unpack and explore your sense of peace and ease in the world. Add into that if you wanted a consultation, there's also 20% off. So that's also a nice perk. And I'm available during the day between these times. So if you wanted to drop me a line, I can hop into School and say hi. But anyway, if that sounds helpful, you'll see, I've got everything arranged. Love, there's where your love reports are. You can click on success. You can click on daily for the daily ones. It's all there for you. And this friendship, there's so much there for you, Cancer. So if you wanted to explore the sense of your consciousness within our group, then just get in touch. But